Hello, this is Pinkietessa's A to Z of London. It's R for River and Refreshments. The River Thames is synonymous with London. You could not have one without the other. It flows through one of the most densely populated areas of Europe, leaving a north-south divide. And how? This is not merely a physical partition, it's a mental thing, which inhabitants don't appear to take too long to acquire. Possibly don't mention the north-south thing to a cab driver, or alternatively do for hours of jollity and fun. The source of the Thames is found in Gloucestershire, which borders Wales. It rises at the Thames Head near Cirencester and flows through such cities and towns as Oxford, Reading, Henley-on-Thames, Windsor, Kingston-upon-Thames and Richmond in a very jolly tour. Upon reaching its mouth, it glides effortlessly into the North Sea at Southend-on-Sea, Essex. At this point, you can call it the Thames Estuary. It won't mind at all. Old Father Thames is the second longest river in the United Kingdom, but the longest in England, measuring 215 miles. The longest is the River Severn by 5 miles, but it doesn't count as it turns into Wales. The river attains a special significance flowing through the capital, at which point it is tidal. There it can rise and fall by 23 feet. Its tides reach Teddington Lock. Before the lock it was tidal as far as Staines. Hang on, we've been here before. Staines is not a euphemism, it's a right noisy urban area on the flight path to Heathrow. The River Tee has supported human activity for thousands of years. The length of its banks providing habitation, water power, food and drink. It's also a marvellous major highway. International trade enters these isles through the Port of London. Internal transport takes place along the river's length, which was vastly extended due to the British canal system. The RT has been at the centre of many events and fashions in British history, leading John Burns to describe it as liquid history. It is a physical and political boundary and witnessed a ton of crossings over its length, from bridges to tunnels to boats and all the like. Recent times have seen a move to the leisure industry, encouraging tourism and pleasure outings, including all manner of water sports. The Thames contains over 80 islands. In J for J Tower, I observed the Palace of Westminster appeared surrounded by water in an old drawing. The palace was built on an island, Thorny Island, or the Eyot of Thorns. An eyot is a small island, especially one found in the Thames and its tributaries. The last remaining true eyot closest to central London is in Chiswick. It is famed for its appearance once a year during the boat race. Time for refreshments. Irish cocoa and ice cream just fits the bill, and it's perfect for a day out in London. Ice cream was probably invented in China in the first millennium. The first occasion this rare luxury is recorded in England is 1672. And who consumed it? Yes, our pal Charles II, the one who didn't lose his head. You need ice to make ice cream, so before refrigerators they had ice houses. Ice could be stored in this manner for months or years, and this method was used for centuries. The ice would be packed into insulated underground chambers, deploying good drainage. The ice would be collected during the winter or imported, but it was still a luxury. It was in the early 19th century that commercial harvesting of ice in cold climates and its transportation to popular centres like London became a growth industry. Thus, the sale of large amounts of ice cream became a possibility. And guess who had the expertise? Yes, the Italians. And guess where there were a ton of them? Yep, London. En masse due to their own domestic problems. During the 1840s, ice imports from Norway were shipped by the North Sea and up the Thames onto the canal system via Limehouse for storage and dispersal. A Carlo Gatti bought his first consignment in 1857, 400 tons worth from Norway, and used one of the 2 ice wells at 12 to 13 New Wharf Road to store his valuable consignment. This ice was used for food preservation, ice cream, and medical uses, in that order. The ice was shipped to Regent's Canal Dock, part of the Limehouse Basin, through the Thames. This canal is connected to Paddington Basin in the east, which has been covered quite soundly in P for Paddington. See, that's London all slowly tying up nicely. Where you've got a river that cuts through a city, you need something to get you across. One of the most famous, iconic and instantly recognisable is Tower Bridge. How grand is that? London Bridge was originally the only crossing for the Thames. As the capital grew, so more bridges became necessary. The majority of bridge building took place to the west of London Bridge, upriver. As the east end of London, which housed the busy port, became densely populated, the need for a new bridge became even more pressing. In 1876, the City of London Corporation was forced to delay no longer. The problem that faced this construction was how to build a bridge which did not disrupt the river traffic flow. Over 50 designs were submitted. October 1884 was the eureka moment. No, not that one. It arrived when Horace Jones, the city architect, in collaboration with John Wolfe Barry, offered the solution: Tower Bridge. 8 years later, in 1894, having used 5 major contractors and the relentless labour of 432 workers, the bridge emerged pretty much as we see it today. In its day, it was the largest and most sophisticated PAZL bridge ever completed. PAZL derives from the French for seesaw. The bridge can open, allowing large river traffic to progress. The PAZLs were operated by hydraulics, with the enormous pumping engines using steam power to operate. The energy created was stored in 6 ginormous accumulators, meaning a power source was always available to drive the engines, moving the PAZLs up and down. It sounds complicated, but only took a minute to raise the PAZLs to their maximum angle of 86 degrees. Today, the PAZLs are still in operation using the hydraulic power, but since 1976, they are driven by oil and electricity rather than steam. The original pumping engines, accumulators and boilers are now exhibits within the Tower Bridge exhibitions. Voila! In 1910, the high-level walkways were closed due to lack of use by hoi polloi, as it was generally preferred to wait on street level for the road to be opened and closed rather than make the climb. In 1982, as part of the Tower Bridge exhibition, visitors can once again access the walkways, now fully covered, and just marvel at the super-duper Panasonic, or panoramic, view. Whilst we revel in the view, let's just say this has been my R for River and Refreshments. Have a look at Q for Queen Square, or subscribe. Go on. There's always good stuff from Pinkietessa.com.